Hello there. Welcome to RØDECaster user Meetup, where we talk about all things RØDECasters. Anything you want to know about RØDECaster, we can discuss it, we can talk about it. And also, if you also want to participate in the show, feel free to go to learner2learner.com, which is shown on the ticker down below. Go to learner2learner.com, and there is a click to join via Zoom link button available for you. So if you want to do that, you can just click on that. I've also pinned that link on the YouTube chat as well. Welcome. I'm gonna welcome my guest. I'm so glad John Lowe's joining us today. Let's see. Okay, here's John. Oh wait, I have one hole in right here. What is separating us? There. Now we're
That's an
together.
invisible gap in between. Good evening to you, John. Good evening to everyone that's watching over there. Good morning to me.
You
I
are
woke up early.
Yeah.
I woke up early and I thought, hey, I can join today earlier.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're able to join. And in fact, I was like trying to stay. Last couple of weeks, I have been a little off because I've been on vacation for so long. I get to see you. And I wanted to kind of get us refocused back on the topics of discussion that we have here, as well as the next show, which is coming up in about an hour, called Soundcheck, where we're going to open up more topics, more audio related topics. We're going to talk about a few things. I have some notes written down. We're going to talk about some new microphones by Shure. There's a couple of new microphones. And so if you're able to stay tuned, please do so. If you're watching this on a replay, oh, good. And
no, not me, right? You're talking about the rest of the people watching.
The rest of the people also. If you watching on replay, if you're watching on replay, not you, John Lowe, but the people who are watching replay can also follow on the Soundcheck conversation as well. There are 2 shows under this channel, so you can always go to the playlist and look for all Soundcheck related shows and also all RØDECaster related show. So, okay, I'm so glad you're joining us, John. You know why? Because like nobody's in Clubhouse and nobody is anybody watching? Oh, the one person's watching. Is that you? Or maybe it's Bruce.
No, that's not me.
It could be Bruce. Bruce, is that you watching? Sometimes he would help me check out to see if the feed is okay and everything is good.
Okay.
But what I like to kind of stay focused on is a few things. Like now that we've gotten back, or I've gotten back to more of the routine of creating this show, and also helping people on Clubhouse with sound checking or just answering some questions about RØDECasters, I thought we would dedicate like whenever there is, if we have a discussion going on, if somebody comes in with a question, we should try to tackle that first, because the opportunity for people to come join us and we're able to answer directly to them is a little rare, because replay can always listen to the replays later on, all the discussions. But I do have some topics set aside just so that we can talk about it. So
certainly,
if those of you who are watching and who want to know and learn more about RØDECasters, or if you happen to be a RØDECaster user and wanted to join our discussion, feel free to join us. We meet every single Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And so you can participate by just going to learner2learner.com and learn about the schedule and also the link to participate in this live call. And if you're watching on, somebody give me a thumbs up. So it might have been Bruce that was telling me that was him. So if you are one of those users, or if you're researching, if you're thinking about getting one, the one that has been a lot of people have been asking, and I'm seeing people with the RØDECaster Pro 2 purchasing a new unit, is the RØDECaster Duo. Not just the white one, but the just the smaller footprint, and people seem to be enjoying that. And a lot of people actually got the RØDECaster Pro 2 not expecting to use all four inputs. And so people, now that they have the option of just having two inputs, sometimes most people would just have like one microphone if you're doing a solo podcast recording, or have just like another co-host would work, or co-hosts like us right now virtually, not necessarily in person. Then you don't need more than one, and you have two inputs on RØDECaster Duo. So
I've got an interesting fact
yeah.
that I can share. I was just over at one of the camera exhibition last week, all
Uh-huh.
right, here in Malaysia. And there's this company called Pixel Distribution, which is they carry the road branding. They are the main distributor here in Malaysia.
Okay.
And they were like sharing to me that, people are buying the Rodecaster 2 more than the Rodecaster Pro Duo here in Malaysia.
Oh,
Whereas
interesting
in
fact.
US, people are buying more of the Duo than the Rodecaster Pro 2. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Mine is not, I think their fact is probably more accurate than mine. Mine is just like, I'm just hearing people talking about, oh, I'm getting a RØDECaster Duo now. Because remember, for a while on Clubhouse, we couldn't even find another RØDECaster Duo user. And then
okay.
suddenly there are quite a few now. So the ones I know, the Jeanette that would come onto the show occasionally. She has a white RØDECaster Duo. There's at least another person. I think Billy. Do you remember Billy, who does the Amazon demo, like product review guy? Billy, who comes
Okay.
into our soundcheck occasionally in the early days. He also has a RØDECaster Duo. I think he
Mm.
had a RØDECaster OG, and then he upgraded it to a RØDECaster Duo. Now,
Is there a big difference in terms of price of the Duo versus the Rodecaster
that's
Pro 2?
that's a good question. I think it is. I want to say it's like 100 plus.
$100?
I have to look it up. Let's look at it. I'm gonna look at Amazon and see if we can do.
I'll go on Shopee here in
Yeah. So
Malaysia
you can look at
for
the
the
the two
comparison.
different regions. So RØDECaster Pro 2 is $700, $699 essentially.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see. Oh, dang it. I wanted to show this on Chrome now. So let me see if I can switch this view to look at Google Chrome. Here it is. So RØDECaster Pro 2 is $700. RØDECaster Duo. Let me see if there's any suggestion here down below. Nope. I'm gonna look at RØDECaster Duo. Pricing is, I wanted to say like 500, 499 probably. Yeah,
So it's about
$200.
$100, $200. That's a steep difference because I'm looking at Shopee over here.
Mm,
And it does look like it's about 500 ringgit, which is like slightly more than $100 difference between the Duo and the Rodecaster Pro 2.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah,
And did you say 500 ringgit difference?
yeah,
So 500 ringgit difference is under, it's like slightly a little bit over $100 difference.
yeah,
Maybe which is that
that's
is the
correct.
reason why you are seeing more people actually using or in Asia prefer the RØDECaster Pro 2, because for an additional 500 ringgit you get 4 additional
More inputs, yeah.
inputs.
And because it's 500 ringgit versus say your $200, which equivalent to about close to 900 ringgit,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that's a big jump.
yeah. Hey, Ernesto is here also. Well, Ernesto's in the chat. Hello, Ernesto. Uh,
Hello, Ernesto.
oh, he said I have some homework due. Let's look at, what did he say? I have some homework due. I'll be listening, and in the chat I have to do. Oh, wait. Okay, so Ernesto, you gotta tell us. You have a white Duo. Do you have do you have the white duo because you you have, is this the only one you have? Are you a recent Rodecaster Duo owner, or did you have more before?
Did you purchase the Duo because it was
Yeah,
a
I'm
lot
curious to
more
find out.
cheaper than the Rodecaster Pro 2 and you don't mind having lesser input because you don't need them?
Yeah, I'm curious to know now. Now you gotta do next week. You gotta be on. I have. Oh, he has the OG. Okay, so he had the. I guess he still does, which I do, and I'm thinking about selling because I'm not using it. So if it was like that here, I would purchase the for my input. Oh, okay. So if the difference is about, so if we're thinking about 500 ringgit is how many, like 4.3 now maybe. So if that's $120 more instead of $200 more, would you, Ernesto, have purchased the Rodecaster Pro 2 instead? Well, some people like it for the smaller size,
For
you
the
know?
small form factor.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the price point do play a big role in it.
You're
And I
right.
believe the person that I was chatting to, he said, for the price difference, people prefer to get the Rodecaster Pro 2 because the price is not far apart.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. But US is still $200 apart, and that is quite significant, I'd have to say.
Yeah. Even
So
Ernesto agrees.
yeah, and I think if Ernesto next week when you join us, I would love to hear your experience going from using the OG, the Rodecaster OG, to a Rodecaster Duo. I wanted to. Okay, so let me see if. Okay, what did he say? I wanted the new version, but the price was too steep, and I didn't use the four mics, so the small footprint to my table was a nice upgrade. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. If you don't use it, especially if, yeah, for saving $200 for features that you don't use, I mean, maybe some people know whether or not they're going to use,
Mm.
especially if he has a Rodecaster OG already. It's not like somebody who hasn't had any opportunity to use a mixer yet. So if he has the OG and he's been using it for a while with just one input, there's no point paying more to get more inputs. But
But
however, if it's me,
even
I would probably
for
would.
me, well, even for me, I think if let's say the price difference was about 1,000 ringgit, and I know for the fact to even to me the Rodecaster Pro 2 Pro 2 is already overkill.
Mhm.
I purchased it not because I needed it, because I wanted it. Because it's freaking awesome, this device. I gotta say that, right?
Yeah.
And if I've got a chance to purchase again, and if the price point between the Rodecaster Duo and 2 is so far apart, I will also go for the Duo for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So if you were to purchase it today, looking at the price difference of
Mhm.
500 ringgit, would you have considered getting the Rodecaster Duo? Like, let's say you don't have one
No,
today, you would still
no,
get the.
I'll still the Duo. Yes, I mean the Pro 2,
Okay.
simply because it's 500 ringgit difference.
Okay. So if it
Yeah.
is like 300, then you'll probably get the. Wait.
No, no.
If it's a
If
thousand
if
dollars
I'm in
difference.
Malaysia,
Uh-huh.
okay, 500 ringgit difference, I will still get the Pro 2.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's, so you're
Yeah.
following the pattern of what most people in Malaysia are doing. The
Yeah.
$500 upgrade to get an additional or double the input, as well as
Yes.
two additional smart pads, one additional headphones, one or two, the two additional
And a record
headphones.
button.
Hey, how many Rodecaster Duo has two or three headphones? Two. So yeah, you're doubling the headphones, you're doubling the inputs, and then um two additional smart pads. But you do lose out on the front headset input.
Headsets. Yeah. But I get a physical recording button though.
That is true. That actually, that's a very good discussion. In fact, I'm gonna put aside my notes. In fact, today is a good day to compare, like from our perspective, those people who are using Rodecaster Pro 2, our perception of what are we gaining, what are we losing, well, if we were to go to a Rodecaster Duo, and then next
We need
week.
somebody to have the RØDECaster
I know,
Duo to
Ernesto.
be in the
Ernesto,
conversation.
next week he will come and tell us from his perspective. Then we can ask him
Okay.
about, like, the question. So you brought up a really good point. What about the record button? Actually, I use the record button a lot, like
Mm.
to start my show a lot. I use it a lot, the physical button a lot, because I sometimes pause my recording, so I would use that as well. I guess I could learn to switch to using the touch screen, but it will probably, anything that has a physical button, I would like. What about your thoughts?
After I switched to, say, using the Stream Deck to control the RØDECaster, the cover on my RØDECaster Pro 2 has
We're
all
close.
been there quite a bit.
So you don't need it. You can use
I
your
don't need it.
Stream Deck to hit the record button
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. So that is, well, I mean, go against of what I said, gaining a physical record button. Um,
But
so
you're not
I
using
do
it.
use the Stream Deck. Yeah, I don't need it, right? I just press on the Stream Deck and then it records, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just easy because the way that my desk setup is that the RØDECaster is out of the frame and it's a little bit far for me to reach to actually. I mean, it's still reachable. It's just that the Stream Deck is just a lot more convenient.
True. Yeah.
Mm.
Ernesto says he misses the physical button from the OG. Now, Ernesto, I'm curious, did you sell your OG or do you still have it with you? Do you use, or and how do you use it if you still have it with you? Because I still have my OG. I haven't used it for a while. I think before my vacation, I turned it on because somebody asked some questions, not even on Clubhouse or here on YouTube live stream. It was actually somebody on Chatter, one of the newer apps, who had one and wanting to do something, and I have to go into the menu and try to look something up for him. So I barely use my. In fact, if you're interested in buying one, you let me know because but the thing is, like, I don't think I can sell it for a really good price anymore because I don't know if anybody still are looking for a Rodecaster OG, unless you want to replace the one that you currently have and you needed all the functionality like the TRRS and all that. Otherwise, I would not advise anybody except if budget is an issue and they needed something. I have rarely recommended anybody since the Rodecaster Pro 2 came out to go and purchase a brand new Rodecaster Duo original. Have you thought of any situation, John, where you would think it's useful for people to go buy it other than cost?
Well, I think the RØDECaster Pro 2 has been out for a while. And if I'm a bargain hunter, I believe I will go to places like Carousel, in the likes of here in Asia, which is a secondhand or sort of like a marketplace where you can purchase pre-loved products and look for it first,
By the way, I love
right?
that term.
Pre-love.
Like, I have not heard that term before until I talked to my Malaysian friends.
Uh-huh.
Pre-loved clothing and shoes, bags, and electronics. I love that endearing term of pre-loved. So
But
you want to look for like a used ones.
I use one if I'm a budget hunter, but then again, maybe the device is so useful that I'm looking at Carousel right now. Around me in the range of 100 kilometer or maybe 50 miles, there ain't anybody actually
Uh-huh.
selling the Rodecaster Pro 2. So if I
Uh,
were just to make my search bigger to Rodecaster Pro, um, no, not much actually that's going on
so not
over here
even.
when it comes to these.
I know on Amazon you cannot buy the Rodecaster original anymore. At least not through Rode.
Mm.
I don't think you can buy just the straight up RØDECaster Pro directly from Rode. I don't even know if there's any RØDECaster OG available anymore. Not on Amazon.
Maybe on
RØDECaster is
Facebook
still there.
Marketplace.
RØDECaster is still there. Hey, it's one of the best seller. A lot of people do use it. We recommend it a
RØDECaster.
lot. Remember earlier days of Clubhouse, I recommended RØDECaster to so many people.
Yeah,
It's a good
because the RØDECaster is
starter.
expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's a good starter. Like
Yeah.
so remember there was another one that we used to recommend. I forgot what it's called. Like it's like really cheap one.
Yeah, the China-made
The China
ones.
made one. I forgot what it's called, but we used to recommend that because, and I
Yeah,
call that a toy. And then I'd say like a slightly better toy, like a better built toy would be a monocaster.
yeah.
Then it'll be like the actual mixers. But speaking of like comparing, we'll come back to comparing the two again, the Duo and the Pro 2. I when or even thinking further back with the OG, I really missed not having my TRRS.
Hmm.
When I mean, I still enjoy using my RØDECaster Pro 2, but I just kept like thinking to myself, dang it, I wish they had brought the TRRS over to the RØDECaster Pro 2 because I relied on it so much. And the issue with that was when we were doing like Twitter Spaces back then, Instagram Live, for instance, there are a lot of phone application that still does not support the audio interface connection. So when you connect your RØDECaster OG with USB through the Lightning to a USB 3.0 adapter from Apple, you still couldn't connect when you get onto Twitter Spaces because it will automatically switch to using your built-in speakers and microphones. And that's because the app itself does not support it. Same thing with Instagram Live. For a while, Instagram Live was okay, but then we realized if you brought another person up to join your Instagram Live, it kicks back into the OG, the original speakers and microphones. So that was the issue with me missing the TRRS connection. But
But
then
I wouldn't say that the RØDECaster 2 is missing the TRS because of that. I'll rather blame it over to Twitter Spaces, that they don't actually support whatever that's like the next step of things, you know.
that's true, and Ernesto brought up a good point too. He was asking what was the reason for the TRRS and how did I use it. So for TRRS, a few things. When I was on my OG, I would make phone calls with it, so I could be on the show. Back then during the COVID time, I would be on my system all day long. Work, I'm on the system. Outside of work, I'm on Clubhouse or whatever it is, and I'm making phone calls. All that is done through the TRRS connection, so I don't have to switch in and out. And then of course Clubhouse introduced stereo, and that's when I need to switch over to USB connection or the Lightning connection with the Lightning to USB 3.0 adapter. But when I do that, that caused that two issues, which is certain apps does not support audio interface, and therefore it will the connection would drop. It'll go default back to TRRS. But then I have the TRRS option to fall back to. What was painful for me was there was a bit of a time. I always say a bit of time. It's more like a year or so that or maybe like 8 months is when I start to like, okay, I won't go to those apps that does not support your Lightning connection. But then I still miss it
That's the right
occasionally.
strategy.
Yeah, but the thing is like phone calls. Like I want to talk to some of my friends on WhatsApp. You can't do that. I want to talk to my mom on FaceTime. It does not do that. FaceTime does not even support that. Phone calls, I cannot do that, which means I have to switch. I actually still have a AB switch right now for me to switch back from the two different connection, my USB connection versus my TRRS connection, because I was using it enough to use that as my workflow. I would be on a meeting or a Clubhouse. I need to make a phone call. I just pick up my phone, I dial, I get through, and everything comes to my original RØDECaster that way. So I didn't have to think about switching connections. But then
So,
iPhone 15 came out. That
uh-huh.
changed everything. I was so excited when iPhone 15 came out, and we'll talk about 16. iPhone 15 came out, and that changed everything because of the USB-C connection. I was anxious. I actually at that time I have not yet owned a the SC19 cable, the Rode SC19 cable, which is necessary for the connection for a phone with lightning connection to your RØDECaster Pro 2. That's crucial because it's only one device can do that. But look at that. Look at all these colors now, John. The
Oh wow,
SC19 comes in black, blue, green, orange, pink,
fancy. And
purple.
why is black more premium than the rest of the color?
Because I guess they think people would like the other colors, but they're still selling black
That's
more than
like $10
usual.
difference from the
Yeah.
price.
Yes. Like some
That's
people,
unfair.
I know, right? Maybe I should buy
They're
some.
colorist. I
But
want to say racist, but it's like not really.
it's not race, it's just color. Yeah, colorist is right. So because of the I got RØDECaster Pro 2. When I got RØDECaster Pro 2, I purchased SC19 to go with it because I wasn't sure if there's any the other connections would work or not. But I ended up learning that if you still have the old connection, like the let me see if I can go back to my Clubhouse website, my old Clubhouse website, where I listed out the various different connections to get onto Clubhouse. So I have my different bundles. You can still use the Apple Lightning bundle. You can still do that. So which means an Apple Lightning is this adapter right here. It's the Lightning that adapts to USB 3.0. So it gives you a USB Type A connection, USB Type A, USB 3.0, but Type A connection that allows you to connect back to your RØDECaster that way. This still works, but I was afraid that it
Mhm.
wouldn't. So I bought the SC19 just in case. Plus, I also thought, maybe I can use that for testing out stuff for people who want to try SC19 and see if it works with this device or that device. So SC19 works. That is, but that does not take away the issue or the concern about connecting to a phone call. Like there are still apps that are still unable to be utilized because it does not utilize the audio interface portion of the hardware.
Even with the USB-C
No,
of your
USB-C,
iPhone
no.
15?
That's only for SC19. That's only for the
I see.
Lightning
Okay.
connection. So I think maybe that is the limitation of the Lightning connector, maybe. Because when we switched to USB-C, iPhone 15 onward, I was super excited. I remember it was right before my trip. And
Mhm.
the iPhone 15 came out, and I wanted to test one thing. I think I only managed to test it like one time before I left for my trip, to test out whether or not I can make phone calls. I can utilize that to connect to Twitter Spaces and Instagram Live with co-host. And I tested all that and everything worked. The trick is you gotta, and this is actually good information for people who are using it right now today, if you have an iPhone 15 or newer, I guess 16 is coming out next week, you should be able to, when the first time you plug your RØDECaster USB connection to your iPhone 15 or newer with a USB-C connection, is going to ask you if is this headphones or other device, other accessories. I literally, the first time I forgot what I did. Second time I plugged that in. Sometimes it resets, or I think I got my new phone or something. I went to Malaysia and came back and it got reset. When I plug in after I returned from my trip to Malaysia last year, not this year, it told me it wouldn't do it. Like it would act the same way as how my old USB connection would. So it would only do a few apps, and then certain apps it wouldn't connect. And I was like, oh my God, did I dream up what I tested before my trip? You know how when I have my 3-week trip, I forget about a lot of stuff when I
Yeah,
come
after
back?
the trip, you get the Lulu.
I know, I got completely delulu. And I was like, was I just completely delulu that I forgot that it didn't work, or I wish it would have worked and therefore I assumed it worked? And then Nee thankfully pointed out and asking me to make sure to reset that connection. And the next time I plug it in, make sure I choose headphones. So to
How do you
me,
reset the connection though?
okay, good question. Let me see if I'm able to show you that. Let me see how I would do it. Maybe I would switch to my down cam. Like, okay, so on your phone, you go to settings, and I've shown this before, but I can't remember it. On settings, and then you go to, where was it? Audio, sound, and haptics. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sound and haptics, and then scroll all the way down to the bottom. Oh, my cord is short, so let me come down a little bit. And then you have this headphones audio option. So
Mm-hmm.
in headphone safety, you would go in there, and then you would go to USB, very buried, USB accessories, USB audio
Mm-hmm.
accessories, and then you do forget all audio accessories. And then next time you plug it in, it's going to give you the option to choose whether or not it's headphones or if it's like other accessories. So it's
So what do you choose? Is it headphones or other
headphones,
accessories?
which is counterintuitive to me. Like for me, it's like, this
Yeah.
is not really headphones, so I'm gonna switch the other way around. But then it stopped using it to hear things and to speak into it. It's counterintuitive, but that is very important. I may actually clip this and make this into a short because it is so important for people to know. If you happen to have an iPhone with USB-C connection, iPhone 15, and or newer, and you have a RØDECaster Pro 2 and suddenly it's not connecting, or the first time you set it up, it is not allowing you to make phone calls, that is the simplest test. If it doesn't allow you to make phone calls using that connection with your RØDECaster Pro 2, then or Duo, then you did not have that USB accessory set correctly. So
You know, this
that's
is
crucial.
this is so infuriating in the sense of like we talk about this right now and then it doesn't sound right to us, right? And then
Yeah.
eventually maybe the iPhone what's the version now? 18.0.1.2 some,
iOS. Yeah.
and then they freaking updated and then we were like, oh, we haven't really accessed this menu for the longest time, and then it has the right terminology right now and we totally do not know.
Well, it's really hard for, I guess it's hard for Apple to anticipate what kind of peripheral is going to be connected to the iOS, you know.
Mm.
So it might be difficult, but I'm sure they make it as simple as possible for people to comprehend. And sometimes that's what it leads to. It just led to some confusion when we need the technicality of whether or not you're using it as a headphones. But that's counterintuitive to me, that we need to select headphones instead of other accessories. But
Okay,
anyway,
I think some of your users were also like dying to know right now,
mm,
okay? Because you talk about the TRRS, right? And
yeah.
then you say you missed it, and then the phone call, and then you got it solved when iPhone 15 comes out. But back in the days of even say the RØDECaster Pro 1, and then also in RØDECaster Pro 2, we have Bluetooth. So why aren't you using Bluetooth?
um, I could, but Bluetooth signal is so low quality that I didn't want to use it. It's totally fine using it. Let's say if I want to make phone calls and I don't want to have to, like, I mean, I used to use it. I used to,
Mhm.
but it's cumbersome to try to get your phone connected manually all the time. The connection does not stay connected consistently, for me at least. Like I would imagine maybe people who utilize solely their iPhone solely connected to their Rodecaster Pro 2 with USB, with Bluetooth, maybe theirs connected to the system all the time. But for me, every time I reboot my Rodecaster Pro 2, I have to not repair, but I have to reconnect. Have to re-engage
Right.
that connection again. And to me, and that's cumbersome. Like it's not, it
Okay.
takes that extra hurdle. So I ended up, when I need to use it, I would use it, but most of the time I would think of that extra step and I just ended up unplugging it and just use it directly with my built-in microphone when I
So
make
can I
phone
safely
calls.
say that when you can, if you were to connect to Bluetooth and make the call,
Mhm.
the sound quality versus say from the TRRS, totally different.
TRRS is actually better. It's
Better. Okay.
yes, even though it's analog, the audio quality is better. It's analog audio quality. It is just essentially it's it is what it is. It's like there's no in the conversion maybe like when it switches from analog to digital, unless that part is really bad. Otherwise, it sounds good. It just sounds like there's like one quality that we know. Um, then USB, then Bluetooth, because on the OG, I remember it was really low. Like it was like 8,000 hertz
Mm-hmm.
for Bluetooth connection. Like when we hear somebody coming through Bluetooth, we're hearing that person at I think 800, 8,000 hertz. Which, if you're comparing now, we're using in the current world, we're using 48 kilohertz, 48,000 hertz, and you're hearing
As in
only
right now,
8,000.
whatever you guys are hearing is 48 kilohertz.
Yes, technically, yeah.
Mm.
So, um, so the fidelity is really low. The quality is usually muffled, and when people come in to ask us to sound check them, we can't even do that because we're not
Right.
hearing them correctly. We're not hearing them with at its highest fidelity as possible. So we could ask you to do this and that, but it may not change anything on your end because what we're hearing may not be. In fact, we know what we're hearing is not true. Oh, I just
Yeah.
realized.
How
Mhm.
somebody
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 joined?
is messaging?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Ellen from
Alan
Australia.
join. Hi, hello,
Yeah,
Alan.
joined us.
So the other question I want to ask is, well, this is eventually
Mm.
because I asked if Bluetooth to TRS. So from TRS to iPhone 15 USB-C,
Yes.
the quality,
Great.
I would say this is great.
Yeah.
It actually improved
It's
for a phone call.
well, the phone call is still phone calls.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
depends.
Right.
It depends on the so I think for phone calls, it is perfectly fine to it's perfectly fine for phone calls if you use even the 800 hertz quality connection
Mm,
because it
okay.
sounded like phone calls. But we if we're in Clubhouse, we don't want that because
Mm,
Clubhouse could be so much higher, right? The quality and you're hearing like a small little tiny fraction of the fidelity of their sound. So that's why we like poo poo Bluetooth connection, and then it becomes better. I think it becomes like 20 uh 20,000 hertz on US.
Okay.
I can't, don't quote me. I need to look. I need to look up what the
So
Bluetooth connection quality is on RØDECaster Pro 2.
so you're saying from the RØDECaster Pro 1, if you were to connect to Bluetooth versus say the RØDECaster Pro 2, connect to Bluetooth, the RØDECaster Pro 2, does it better? Sounds better?
Yes.
And is good enough? Again, I think the fact that it is a phone call and it's a low
Yeah.
fidelity
If it's a phone
is
call, yes.
is low fidelity in a way. It is a feature, not a bug, or not a lower quality, because you can design a show where if you're the host, you sound a lot more amplified, a lot more
Then
commanding, and then
callers sound like they're callers.
exactly they are calling in. So you can differentiate between the
The
environment of
host
the
and
whole
the
entire
call-ins.
show. Yeah, the dynamic of it makes it work, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Yeah, I wish I can easily find out. I've written it down somewhere, but I don't remember now what the Bluetooth. And maybe next time, if I find out, or while we chat, I might be able to look up. So how I was able to look up the quality for it was actually through using what is it called, audio MIDI setup on our Mac. On
Mhm.
audio MIDI setup, there was a Rodecaster Pro. I think I don't have it now. There
I
was
actually
a
love it that you actually went and look out the actual numbers of the quality of it. Because to me, if I were to like, oh, I'm just gonna judge by feel. Oh, it sounds better. Oh yeah, maybe it doesn't sound that good. That's my judgment. And you went and look out the numbers, so that's
Yes,
great.
I
No,
always wanted numbers and facts to support what my ears are hearing, because
right?
you can always have an opinion, and my opinion can be wrong anytime, right? I can have a
Mhm.
bad day of hearing things, and and
Is that a thing? A bad day of hearing things? Okay.
If I have a bad, like, bad judgment day, it's just like, oh, okay, it sounded bad, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Now I'm curious to find out what that is, because I wanted to know in my Rodecaster. Okay, so in Rodecaster Pro chat, maybe I should share the app with you all. Um, this would be this is the app interface, but don't worry about John right now. I need to switch. I would do it. Hey,
Hey, I wasn't intending on doing that, but yeah. Okay.
I was trying to do um I was trying to do I was trying to oh my gosh, what am I doing? I was trying to do the I forgot my train of thought while my eCam changes things. Oh, I was trying to figure out what my connection speed, not connection speed, but the bit rate. So the bit
Mm-hmm.
rate number. So it's 48. No, this is sampling rate. Sorry, not bit rate. This is sampling rate. The sampling rate at 48 kilohertz is Rodecaster Pro 2 chat. Main is also 48. But I don't have, let's see what the other ones, like my microphone. Oh, okay. MacBook Pro microphone
I
is also at
ask
48.
because can I ask
Uh-huh.
what is sampling rate?
Okay. So, sampling, sample. So it takes a sample, like how often do you take a sample of the sound? So
Okay.
that is the sampling rate. So the more you take the sample, it will
Mm-hmm.
be able to capture or record the sample of the sound. Sound is just wave, right? Sound wave. And in
Mm-hmm.
digital world, you have digital data, like 1010, written so that it can reproduce the sound of the sound wave. So if
Okay.
you sample it 48,000 times per second, then you're getting that much more
Data from
pictures,
the
yeah, data
waveform.
from the
Yeah.
waveform, as opposed
Okay.
to like 8,000.
So this is the process of how analog converts to digital.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I wish they're like smarter audio people that can give us more information.
I'm
Me
trying
trying
to
to.
like learn and at the same
Well, me
time
too. And
posting like questions that people listening to these and if they are new as I am, they're
yeah.
able to like try to understand what we are trying to talk around here.
Yeah. Let me see what else can I add? Connect well, I guess so how can I add my cuz I guess I have to okay, so the only way for me to find out what this is for me to connect my RØDECaster, which is going to be messy. So maybe I won't do that. I if I pair my computer with my RØDECaster Pro 2 using Bluetooth, then
Mhm.
it will show up as a device.
Right,
And then that device will show me the sampling rate.
right.
And to me, I seem to recall that it's like 20 kilohertz as opposed to like
Okay.
8,000
Eight.
kilohertz. That is okay. Just now I'm saying it, and then I'm gonna fact check next week. Maybe if you remember, remind me to tell you if my memory is still good or not.
Well, I mean, it is a natural progression. If you were to create Roadcaster Pro, and then if you want to improve your product, you have to be improving these numbers as well. So,
Yes, yes. So it's better, but I think. Do you remember sometimes people would come in? Make sure that we're not running over. Um, Sometimes people would come in with their Zoom Zoom Pot not yeah, Zoom Pot Track P8
uh-huh.
and P4 actually.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Those two devices, oh my gosh, back in the days, Pod Track P8 and Pod Track P4, I'm sure they still make those.
I still have them.
P4?
The P4, yeah.
So PodTrack P4 and PodTrack P8, I'll show you all what that is. That's the P4, and it has an adapter. Remember the Bluetooth adapter?
Mm-hmm.
That audio quality is way better than the OG, the original Rodecaster Pro.
Ah,
Yeah, original Rodecaster Pro Bluetooth.
but that's not fair because the PodTrack P4 came out later than the original OG Roadcaster
Maybe, yeah.
Pro.
I can't remember what the date was, but maybe you're right. That
Mm.
maybe it comes out later. But I still think that um it may still be better than the Rodecaster Pro 2. I might be wrong. I
And
don't have the facts to support
oh,
that.
I see. Okay, but then again, it's also the available of the Bluetooth technology back then. It was
True.
like maybe Bluetooth 3 or
Yeah.
4, and versus right now it is 5, 5.5, or is 6 even coming? I'm not sure. Um, those kind of thing, you know. So
I think in time, at least I'm hoping, which was actually part of my conversation, but I'm going to save that for next week now because the conversation is quite interesting. Um, I think over time when Bluetooth becomes more power efficient and be able to transfer more packets of data,
mhm.
that's when maybe the quality can get as good, if
Yeah.
not if not at least closer to being great. So maybe not like 48 kilohertz. Maybe it gets up to 41, maybe 41K, 41 kilohertz, like CD.
Mhm.
So
One of the
maybe
biggest sell on why people are using Bluetooth is the low latent the low power requirement of Bluetooth that keep devices with their their battery alive, being connected for a long period of time. So hence there's limitation of bandwidth in terms of like how the packets are sent.
yeah.
So
So that's what I'm
So
saying. Like if it becomes the
mm,
chip becomes more efficient with power, maybe then they can still keep the low power consumption, but yet be able to transfer more data, more to
is,
increase the bandwidth.
is it true though? Like when you purchase one of those Sony wireless headphones, and if let's say they have the high fidelity um, data transfer, does the battery runs faster?
You
Do
know,
you know?
I do know. I do not know. Like you mean like it
Because
uses
if
more? Like it uses more
yeah,
power?
because if
Maybe
Bluetooth's
so. I would
marketing is
imagine. I would
yeah,
imagine
if
so.
Bluetooth marketing is low power consumption, and that hence therefore they were limited in terms of compression
Yeah.
of the audio, and that's the
I would
reason.
imagine so. So in my non-technical brain, how I process this would be: let's say if you're sending a little packet to you every second or every millisecond, I'm sending a packet of data to you. If that data, uh, I need to use like I need to send a bigger data to you, or I have to send more often the data, and therefore it's using my strength more because it's heavier, like more data,
Mhm.
or I have to do it more times and therefore I'm using more power. So assuming my non-audio brain is how I would process this.
Yeah, I guess is the priority of all these manufacturers are
Hmm.
prioritizing, because if let's say they want good audio quality, they use a different kind of codec to actually or connection to send the packets over,
Yeah,
sacrificing maybe battery power versus say the audio quality.
yeah. Okay, so we have only a few more minutes left. Hey, great conversation.
Wow,
I know, right? John, you
one
got to
hour
come
just
every
fly by.
week. You have to come every week now. Ernesto, you got to come next week. I think I'm going to wrap this up by. I have a few other topics that we will bring carry over to next week. So be sure to join us. And if you're watching this on replay, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that we can actually get to you when we go live. You'll know we go live. Especially if you like the conversation, like Ernesto is one of them, and I'm looking forward to hearing him kind of explain to us in person why the show is interesting to him, because I think maybe for the same reason why John has been bugging me for years to make this into a podcast, because because he cannot join us live all the time, but he wants to listen in. And I find that to be true also, listening into conversation for people to talk through the issues or discuss things, even if it's not like straight up professionals telling you these are the facts, da 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 da. It it's again learner to learner, right? Somebody who wants to learn, and therefore asking other people who have already learned about that information and that knowledge and passing that along. Next week we'll carry on our part 2 of RØDECaster Pro 2 versus RØDECaster Duo and see what the differences are, especially when Ernesto come to join us. We will get to ask him directly. Jeanette was great. We get to ask some things from her too. We wish she would come back. Hopefully she will come back one of these days. But I'm glad Ernesto now has I think also a white RØDECaster Duo. We actually have to change the club name on Clubhouse to RØDECaster House. It used to be RØDECaster Pro House. Because of
I
RØDECaster
think
Duo, we changed it to RØDECaster House.
eventually you change it to Roadhouse.
No, I can't. Yeah, I kind of want to stay focused on the thing. In fact, maybe in soundcheck, I'll talk a little bit about the history and the reason why I started this show, and kind of explaining to people why, because I'm about to go to the not road eCams creator camp coming up in October, and they have some challenges for us on our Discord, asking us like some questions every week that we have to answer. And one of the questions that I haven't yet answered, maybe I'll answer that in the soundcheck show and then just clip it and send it to them as my answer, is why do you create? What's
Mm,
the why behind why do you create? Which is a really, really good question, because I'm I really have to think. I mean, there's like for me, there's like almost two tiers. So if you want to find out what my answer is, go listen to Soundcheck. I'm going to go in by started to talk about why I create. Maybe I'll ask John why you create, and anybody who joined why we create. And I can clip that part for as an answer for my assignment. Let's see. Oh wait, what is it? Ernesto has been. I promise I'll be there next week. Yes. Okay. Okay. He said he'll be here next week. Thank you. No problem. We're here every week, but I do want to have you on. Interesting conversations from a person to person. Yeah. And so yeah. So what is the reason behind two shows? Yes. Ernesto, you're gonna join the sound check to find out more about the why I do what I do.
There's 2 more minutes. Let me just quickly say
Yeah.
this though.
Wait, what?
Huh?
What? You're gonna answer in 2 minutes?
No. This thing. Just now we brought out like the RØDECaster, and then you got to rebrand it to the RØDECaster House.
Yeah.
And then I say Rode, right?
Yeah.
Remember last week at the end of our conversation, we actually tried to join the competition, and then I said, hey, everything that we are showing in front of the camera is nothing Rode. We have the Shure microphone, we have these headphones, but the RØDECaster is like off cameras, and we're using Rode to actually do stuff. And
I do have a down cam, so here's the RØDECaster. In fact, last week we talked about exactly that, right? We talked about the big announcement that they promised, and it turned out to be a contest or like what is it, the Creator of the Year award, which was big for a lot of people. And guess what? After the show, John talked to me about it, and I ended up entering. Not that I will win, but not this show, but I
hope you
entered.
win.
Well, of course, I would love to win, but I mean, well, who knows? Maybe on Soundcheck, I'll explain the show that I entered and the reason why I do that show. Maybe there's some story behind it. So anyway, thank you, Alan, for joining us on Clubhouse. I didn't even switch over to Clubhouse at all. But thank you, people in Clubhouse, Alan, and maybe you'll join us on our next show. Hey, Sean just joined us, but will join us on Soundcheck. Okay, we'll see you all.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody. See you on Soundcheck.